3 ways to overcome self-doubt. Self-doubt is a pervasive thing that we all deal with as a human. Your human brain is going to have self-doubt. So to be very clear about what self-doubt is, it is a thought, a way of thinking, a sentence in your brain that comes in and it doesn't support your goal. So it doesn't support what you want to do. And that is what it is. And it's very simple. It comes up in all different ways. We might not know exactly how to identify it, but that's part of what I want to talk to you about on this video. And then I want to share with you 3 ways to counteract it, manage it, work with it so that it doesn't stop you and that you know exactly what you need to do. Kind of like a little process to overcome self-doubt. Whenever you are having self-doubt, you can come back to this video, you can come back to what I'm saying, and you can work this process and just see it as a very neutral thing. So first of all, anyone who's achieved an extraordinary amount of success has had to overcome their self-doubt. And it can show up in different ways. So the first step is to identify it. Like, what is it showing up as? How is it presenting itself in your brain? So some common ones are, there are no good jobs out there. That's a sneaky one, because if anyone has achieved the result of a good paying job that they enjoy, then your brain is telling you that for some reason you can't. And so that's self-doubt, right? Another way it can show itself is, I'm not capable. I'm not capable of getting it. I'm not good at interviews. I don't like talking about myself. I'm not good at talking about myself. Maybe I don't have anything new to say. There's another candidate that could be better. There could be other people that are better. It could be, I failed before. What's to say I'm going to succeed this time? What if they don't call me back? Any thought like that, you get the idea, that doesn't support you and your goal and making that happen for yourself. Okay, so step 1 is to identify it. Step 2 is to counter it, is to argue it, is to give it something it can't argue with. So if you identify your thoughts, you write them down and then counter them, give them something that can't be refuted back. So for example, this is when I was working with my client with yesterday. She's like, I'm afraid that they're not going to call me back, right? She's like, what if they don't call me back for the final interview? Because that happened before. And I said, well, there is always the possibility that they could call you back, right? So that self-doubtful thought, like, they're not going to call me back, or what if they don't? It's not true, because we don't know that for sure, right? We can't know. There can be a world in where they do and a world in where they don't, but at the very least, you can't say for sure they're not going to, because you don't know that. You can't predict the future, right? So that's a thought that we can give, that we can counter and say, hey, you know what? You might be thinking that, but there's actually no possible way for you to know that. Therefore, that's a lie. And it's not, like, you can't argue with that, right? You can't argue that, hey, there's always going to be the possibility you don't know, right? So the second step is to counter it. The third step is to feed yourself with more effectiveness and more of the opposite, so that your brain has a lot of new thoughts to grab onto that are going to support your goal rather than not support it, right? Rather than kind of make you pull back. Instead, it can make you pull forward. And the good news is that even though we are wired for self-doubt, we're wired for self-protection, we can wire ourselves for the opposite. We can wire ourselves for confidence. We can wire ourselves for strength. We can wire ourselves for resilience. And we can do that very intentionally and on purpose, but it is a practice. It is like lifting a weight. It is like lifting something heavy and then having that break down and then being able to grow a muscle, right? That is what that is. It is doing that with our mentality and with our brain. And every time we do have something that doesn't work out, we have the choice to double down on making something even bigger and better. We can double down on our behavior, double down on our mentality, double down on our attitude, instead of quitting, retreating, hiding, and being taken out of the game for a week. That is what slows the results. So that is your lesson in self-doubt. So feed yourself with positivity. That is step 3. Feed yourself with as much positivity as you possibly can. So that could be videos like this. It could be podcasts. I have a podcast, Get a Six-Figure Job You Love and Thrive podcast. If you want to listen to that on the go, there's a ton of gold in there. everything that you listen to, you want to make sure that it is supporting your goal. It is supporting the mentality that you can achieve what you want to achieve, that it is possible, that it might be difficult, but it is possible. My ex always used to say to me, "Oh, that's going to be really hard." And I would say, "I don't need it to be easy. I just need it to be possible." And honestly, it doesn't matter because I want to grow. I want to evolve. I want to go to the next level. So if it's going to be hard, bring it. And once you do that, the hard becomes easier. It's like when you lift a weight and you're lifting the same weight a long time, and the hardness of that weightlifting becomes easier because you became stronger. It is the same with your mentality, with your behavior, with your thoughts, with your ability to identify the self-doubt, to counter the self-doubt, and then to feed yourself with the opposite on purpose every day intentionally. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, that will give you a lot of helpful thoughts, a lot of more positive, a lot of more effective ways of thinking. I strive to do that with every video, with every email that I send out, and that will help you. That will be a great start. So you can give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what self-doubting thoughts you are dealing with right now and the counter that you want to give to them, and then what you're going to do to set yourself up for success in the future. With that said, I have a 3-day series coming up. If depending on when you're watching this, you can watch the replay of that 3-day series. That 3-day series is packed. It has it has so many thoughts and breakthroughs that have created results for my clients where they have doubted themselves, and they've doubted themselves for many different reasons, and they have overcome that doubt with the thoughts and breakthroughs that I've shared on this training. So if you want to get that, it is a 3-day immersive experience where you can really immerse yourself into the thoughts that are going to support you succeeding. And that is something, not everyone's willing to do that. Not everyone's willing to invest the time in really listening and feeding their brain with supportive thoughts. But when you do that, that will make you start to realize what you're really capable of, what's really possible for you, and what you're missing out on if you don't move towards that direction. Because the opposite is to allow the self-doubting thoughts to win, right? Allow them to become who you are, allow them to become truth for you. And the difference between successful people who overcome that and people who don't are the people who really go all in on changing their mentality and their wiring. So the 3-day series, it will be available for you either in replay to watch right away, or the next one will be coming up and you'll be able to join me live, which would be very exciting as well. So give a thumbs up if you like, thumbs down if you didn't, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.